Video game dialogue 9. Oh, the red. I remember this guy.
Sit down. You beat them.
I never laid a finger on Tamara. Not once.
And on Anna?
That's another story.
I played this.
She always knew how to spark my ire.
Your wife. How'd she make you angry? Too much salt in the soup? Socks never darned?
20 years we've known each other. She's seen me drunk and sober. She was there to greet me when I returned the victor. She was there to patch me up in defeat. Like no other, she knew where to press, where to pinch, so it would hurt.
You beat her? For that? For criticizing you?
Oh, Witcher, you haven't a clue, have you? Well, perhaps I shall tell you about it one day. One day, but not today.
You knew they had run away from the start.
Yes, I knew.
Why didn't you tell me? Wasted my time.
Say I had. Say I'd said I had troubles. Couldn't control my wife, my daughter. What kind of flaccid prick would you take me for?
Gotta admit, I do think you're a prick. Not because you couldn't control them, but because you drove them away.
What?
Don't play the idiot. You gave them no choice.
Anna and I. It wasn't as it seemed.
It's crazy how they can tackle topics like this without it being patronizing. I love showing clips like this because it just shows that it's not social issues, it's not woke stuff, it's not DEI, it's bad writing. That's it. Did you play The Witcher 3? I played like the first 20% or 30% of the game. I will eventually go back and play it entirely. But I have not played the entire game, but this was at the beginning of the game, so I did play this part.
Seems.
All right, I'm all ears. Tell me what happened. The truth this time.
I'd been soaking myself 3 days straight. Anna came to me, said they were leaving. I begged them to stay. She refused to hear it. I tried to stop her. She wriggled like an eel. We struggled. She fell. Last blasted thing I remember. Woke up in the morn, breeches heavy with my own piss. A large bump on my head. Sadly, they were gone. Know what that's like, Witcher? No. How the fuck could you? I was left with nothing. Nothing! Only the bottle.
See, this is one of the components that I think a lot of writers are unwilling to do now, is they're unwilling to show characters that are effectively antagonists or the villain in a way that's sympathetic in any way. And so, like, you can watch this and you can sympathize with the Baron, but you know he's still in the wrong and he's still a bad guy. And it makes it real and relatable. It makes them human. Yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing that I think a lot of characters don't have anymore. Because he's human. Yeah, exactly.
What happened next?
Next. He told me.
And the reason why it's really good, by the way, is because people that probably have had to deal with stuff like this, their experience is probably closer to this than the one-dimensional depiction of it that's shown in, like, modern millennial writing. So it's like, it's easier for them to relate to it.
It got worse. I awoke at sunset, not knowing how many days had passed. Thought it was all a ploughing, drunken nightmare. And then I went to the bedchamber, and Anna was not there. Instead, there was blood everywhere. I knew she'd miscarried. My breath short.
Oh
my
yeah,
throat
that's
locked.
yeah.
I neared the bed and saw it. It lay there, a tiny thing, defenseless, on bloodied sheets, dead. And it was my doing.
Maybe you're doing, maybe not. But that amulet she wore could be important. Or maybe the fact that she lost it. What did you do with the child?
What was I to do? Took it out and buried it.
Just like that?
Damn you! I gave no thought to a funeral. It was a horror. I wanted it to end. That child had been my dream. I told Anna, the little one, our little one, to make things right. Yet she died before she could be born. Understand, Witcher? My child was dead.
Keep it together, man.
I sympathize. I do.
Thank you. And know that I hope you find your Ciri.
Man. This how you write a story? Yep. And it's just like it's the respect that they give to the viewer, right? Like they don't have to tell you, by the way, this guy's bad. Hey, did you know he's bad? It's obvious that he's bad. He doesn't have to be one-dimensional. Whatever happened to video games? I think that what happened to video games is what happened to everything. I genuinely believe this. People are dumber now. We are at a low point in human social awareness. And I think that it manifests in all kinds. Like I would say I realized it today, but like today was just a reminder. So I make a joke about like, so the Dragon Age subreddit bans me and anybody from my subreddit from posting. And so then I say, apparently the moderators over there believe my subreddit has an inferior culture, which justifies banning all of this, disgusting this level of racism that you can get away with on Reddit nowadays. And a lot of these comments that I'm reading are people that are genuinely mad. They're like, that's not racist. What are you talking about? And it doesn't make me mad that like people say this stuff. It's just sad. It really is genuinely sad. They're not actually mad. No, I think some of them actually are. And it's really scary to see this, that like even basic forms of communication are just totally, it just totally goes over people's heads. And it's very, very worrisome. People don't understand jokes now. Well, I think it's more than that. It's that people don't understand any level of thinking that's not one-dimensional. Like anything that you have to think about after you read it is something that people automatically are like, done. Yeah, context clues. Yeah, exactly. More emotional, less logical. Yeah, and it's really worrisome. I think this has happened with TV shows. I think that it's happened a lot with movies. I think movies are actually the most pronounced example. Like video games, like, hey, you know, we had The Witcher 3 back then. You've got Disco Elysium. You've got Metaphor ReFantazio. Like, we have a lot of really great video games still, even though a lot of the mainstream AAA games are kind of slop nowadays. But I think that movies, you've seen probably the biggest decline.